Okay, this is gonna sound elitist, but you have to be good at the game. I'm sorry. Like, this isn't for everyone. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not the best players. You can look at my gray 9 parse. I don't care. It's a clear. I don't care what your parse is when you clear either. Let's get that out of the way. You're clear, you're good enough, okay? I'm just trying to give you like all of the details that you need to know. So like, just keep all that in mind. Like, you gotta know the strats. You gotta know the food, you gotta know the material, you gotta know the rotation, you gotta know it all. There's no exceptions. I will say, I did have mine on Primal Exodus, so like, the strats are pretty standardized, so you don't have to worry about that. But you gotta know them, and you kind of gotta know them like the back of your hand. There isn't, like, we can carry somewhat decent players if you get the right team through Savage Tier content. You really can't do that with Ultimates. Maybe Ultima, maybe. They still have to be able to push buttons. I think that's a common phrase that everyone says, but like, they definitely need to know how to push their buttons. And like, you can do callouts, personalized callouts, but it really doesn't work. They kind of have to know their personal responsibilities. It's the one type of content in this game where you have a job, where you have to know exactly what your job is at this time, at this mechanic, and there's random ones, and you got to know them all, and you got to be able to do them. You can't have someone like sitting there and be like, okay, this is what happens now, you got to get ready for it and move now. Like, you can kind of sort of do that, but it's fast. Like, there's a step up from normal, then there's Savage, and then there's Ultimate. Okay, there is a definitive gap. I'll draw the like squares on the screen so you'll see, but there's like normal content, then there's extremes, then there's like, I'm gonna call them tier 1 savages, which is like your 1 and 2 tier fights of the like raid tier, so your first 2 fights. And there's like Savage tier 2, which is like, you know, 3 and 4 tiers of your Savage tier, or the 3rd and 4th fight. Then there's like mini Ultimate, like E8S, which is Shiva, which I didn't get an experience, but they said it's like a mini Ultimate. But like, then there's that. Then there's like Uwu, and then there's UCOB, and then there's DSR and T at the top. And like, if I wrote it down, if like on a scale to 1 to 10, if DSR is a 10 and normal content is a 0, and I put DSR and the Dragon Song reprised raid as a 10 because it's currently the hardest content in the game, we put that at the 10, like P4S is like a 4, maybe a 5, and Uwu's like a 6.5 to a 7, maybe it's probably a 6. It's like so if you want to know how much harder something is than the previous one, that's like the best way. There's a definitive gap between like the easiest Ultimate and the hardest Ultimate, and that gap is actually bigger than the gap between P4S and your easiest Ultimate, and it is astronomically harder than you think it is. And that is not to scare you, that is not to be like, okay, maybe I shouldn't. I just want you to know what you're getting in for, because currently the furthest I've seen in, you know, the newest DSR Ultimate, and I've been progging it 2 to 3 times a week in PF and in the static setting, and I've gotten through like Nidhogg, Towers, the first set of Towers. So this is about roughly like 40% of the fight, give or take. People have cleared it. Yeah, I know I'm not as good as them, that's fine. So like, I'm just gonna say I spent like 50 hours ish, maybe, probably less than that, probably like 35-ish hours in the actual raid doing the content, and I'm like 40% of the way through the fight. That being said, I've probably spent over 120, 150 hours watching streams, studying strategies in people's parties who are currently progging the fight. Like, I'm surrounded by this fight, and it is a lot to take in. There's a lot to know. There's a lot of different strategies right now. It's hard. It's got to be something that you enjoy if you want to do it, because it is definitely beating your face up against the wall. So you kind of need to reflect deeply on this. Like, is this something that is important to you and is how you want to spend your time? I think it's very rewarding if, and probably only if, this is the type of content you want to do. Like, I have a lot of fun with it, but this is the content I like. You can dip your toes in it. I would say if you haven't done any Savage tier, dip your toes in that and then try Ultimate. Because I hear all the time a lot of new players are like, I can't wait to do Ultimate content. I can't wait. And then they haven't done any Savage content and they just want to do Ultimate content. And I'm like, there's actually a stepping stone. You kind of want to follow the stepping stone in this path. I think it's like the actual best course of action. So I would definitely recommend doing Savage tier if you're new to Ultimates and wanting to do them in the future. Like, definitely, you know, do the steps of progression like most other people there. This isn't me being like, oh yeah, no, you're not good enough, yada yada. This is me telling you it's probably smart so you can get an idea of how good or bad your experience might be. Now, with all that being said, I gotta say something about like big shiny stick and whatever and yada yada yada. Just because you clear an ultimate, I've cleared an ultimate, I can say this truly deeply. I am not a better player than anyone else that has not cleared ultimates. And if I happen to have a better parse than people who have like done the ultimate that I've cleared, which, you know, my gray 9 is very high up on the parse change, that doesn't mean they're a better player than me or they're a worse player than me, yada yada yada. All this means is that someone spent enough time in a single fight and spent long enough to clear the fight. They might be better at one specific fight than you, okay? They're better at one specific fight in a game with certain encounters on a certain class at a certain time with 7 other people that know their jobs and their roles, and those people are also in the same boat as they were just good enough in order at this time to do these 7 roles. You get what I'm saying? Just because you clear an ultimate does not mean you're necessarily a better player. It doesn't necessarily even mean you're a good player. It means you're a good player for a 13 to 15 minute window at a given time in a specific instance with certain people and one specific fight. Because you know what? You can be really good at Uwu, but be awful at DSR. I would know because I'm okay at Ultima, but I am awful at DSR, hence why I'm stuck at 40%. I just want to throw that out there, so like, don't use that to bully people. Let people enjoy their game, okay? But yeah, no, this is just my thoughts on like, should you do Ultimate content? Yada yada yada. You know the drill. Smash the like button. This is the first time I ever said that. No, but seriously, if you like the video, like and subscribe. Helps me out a great deal. Same with anyone else's content. If you like the video, like and subscribe. You know the deal. Enjoy my friend's POV of me clearing Ultimate because I totally forgot to record and turned it off on accident. But as always, have a great day.
Move as soon as Garuda does her wheel thing. Stay. Wait. In. Stay. Alright. Get ready to pot. Pot and twos. Move. Brother. Alright, this is the clear.
It's free.
Yeah, it's fucking free. Rip LB when
This
it's
is so
at
free.
95. At 95. Keep
I guess we were just getting griefed by the other shield healer.
Yeah, for real. Alright, Rip LB, go for it. This is yours, Indra. This is for your clear, man. Rip that
Congrats,
shit.
man.
Guys, this is awesome.
Easy one shot.
I was gonna ask if